There's the practice side and there's the business side. The practice is the clinical entity that exists to deliver healthcare and better health experiences and better health outcomes for the patients. The business is the economic engine that exists to drive productivity in the forms of revenue and profit for the owners, for the investors, and for the team. Dr. Pete, until we see these as two separate and distinct complementary things, you need to have a healthy practice and a healthy business.
Hello and welcome to the Remarkable CEO Podcast, a show dedicated to chiropractors who want to transform their job into a business so that they can have a remarkable practice as part of a remarkable life, not instead of one. With your hosts, Dr. Pete Camiolo and Dr. Stephen Franson.
Welcome to another episode of the Remarkable CEO Podcast, chiropractic's #1 business podcast. I'm Dr. Pete Camiolo.
And I'm Dr. Stephen Franson.
And today is part 2 of 5 in a series we're doing here to kick off 2026. We're pumped because, Dr. Stephen, we are having a conversation about the two sides of the coin. And I'll tell you, it's been so clarifying for our docs who we serve I'm getting one of those, that's it kind of response, and you're like, okay, that makes sense to me now. When we organized everything that we've been kind of teaching on this podcast, like you said, over the last year in 2025, but now we're bringing it all the way up to the surface and we're bringing everybody into a level of consciousness and awareness because we are doing this as part of our immersion experience. We've rebranded, redesigned, recreated, and we're releasing the new and improved Remarkable Practice immersion events. And I just want to make sure before we go into this episode that everyone who's listening here knows about this event and you are able to attend this event. You do not have to be a Remarkable Practice coaching client to attend. I'm saying that because some of you who are listening aren't actually a coaching client. You might not feel welcome to attend our events that we do. Let me say it this way. You are more than welcome. We would love to have you. So please get registered for the event that's coming up here, March 5, 6, and 7 in Phoenix. And at the end of the month in Brisbane. I don't have the exact dates in my mind, Dr. Stephen, but we are, registration is open. We'd love to have you. And we'd love to have you join us in this critical conversation about the business. We recognize that this is tip of the spear work that we do on this podcast and in our organization. We are leading the chiropractic profession in terms of business acumen and development of, building world-class businesses, what we call remarkable businesses. And we know that this is the conversation that we must be having here in 2026. So we'd love for you guys to join us there. And again, registration is super easy. If you go to TRP, theremarkablepractice.com, go to our events page, and it's easy to learn more about the event and get registered there. And if you have any questions for us about it, hey, feel free to message Dr. Stephen or myself. Hit us up on Instagram. You can reach out to our customer service team. There's lots of ways you can get any questions you have answered, but we love for you to join us. And this is me formally inviting you to join us for the immersions coming up here in March 2026.
Yeah, it's really interesting that you put it that way, Dr. Mead. I don't know if we've ever actually stated it that way because, you show up in Phoenix, there could be 600, 700, 800 people in that room. And what people might not recognize is, most of the people are our clients. Those are our coaching clients. Like that's our tribe, right? So it's a unique experience because, we know everybody and everybody knows each other, which is awesome. But not everybody, because there's a bunch of people in the room that are not clients yet, right? So I just want to make sure that I'm reiterating what you just said, because we never do, is like, hey, if you want to check us out, if you want to come and check out our tribe and our content and meet all of our team and our coaches and get your team rubbing shoulders with some of the best on purpose, like-minded chiropractors in the world. It's like, here's the truth, guys. You go to a 2.5-day seminar with us and your team. If you like what goes on that weekend, you're going to love coaching with us. If you don't like what's going on that weekend, you would hate coaching with us. It's just a great way to be like, I'm going to check these out. You guys check us out. Come and check it out. It's just such an amazing immersive experience, which is why we call them immersions. This year, we're going to be on fuego because we've got 2 new immersions, right? So like you said, we're doing the Remarkable Practice and we're doing the Remarkable Business. We're kicking the year off with Remarkable Business in Phoenix. And then 2 weeks later, I'm going to be jumping on a jet going over to Australia, and it's in Brisbane. It's March 19, 20, and 21. So Phoenix is March 5th, 6th, and 7th. So it starts Thursday night, goes through Saturday. And then in Brisbane in Australia, it's the 19th, 20th, and 21st. So again, starts on Thursday night and we go all day Saturday and Sunday. So we're stoked for this, right? So it's finally, we're like releasing. It's like a new release. So we have a new album coming out, right? So I'm excited to be releasing some awesome new content material, just taking this conversation, this language to the next level. And I'm super stoked for that. So Dr. Pete, I see you've got speaking of new, I see you got a new cap on. It is we're just coming off of the Christmas season. So we got our gifts going. Hey, speaking of gifts, you know what? I'm still feeling festive. Why don't we give away a golden ticket for each of the US event in Phoenix and also in Australia and Brisbane? Golden ticket means free. It's a $1,500 ticket, guys. So if you want to come and check us out, be our guest, right? So jump in on Instagram. You got to follow us on Instagram on the Remarkable Practice page. And just the first person that DMs podcast Remarkable Business, we're going to give you a golden ticket. So it's $1,500. That's going to be our gift for both. We'll do one for Australia and we'll do one for Phoenix as well. So Dr. Pete, I love the new lid. I love the cap.
Thank you.
And you already remarked on my new t-shirt that I've got going on here.
Yeah.
So if you're watching on YouTube, you can see I'm just stretching it out here so you can read it. It says favorite son on there. And so this was a bit of a gag gift that I bought for myself, that I gifted myself at my mother's house with my entire extended family, right? So my brother, his family, my sister, her family, my mom and dad. It's just big tradition, classic big Christmas pig pile going on in the living room. And I bought this for myself and wrapped it up and gifted myself from my mother. I wrote it from mom. So I opened it up and I stood up in front of everybody and I was like, "Oh, Mom, that's so great." And my brother just starts laughing. He's onto it immediately. My mother was looking at me in shock and awe. She was like so confused. She was like, "Oh my gosh." And all the kids are like, "Oh, wow, look at that." But just seeing the look on my mom's face was just so worth it. So I threw this shirt on right away. It's just so favorite son, Mickey, Mom, love you. Appreciate that.
I love it. Yeah, this is from my daughter, Bella. She's got great taste. So Bella, not as much controversy on this one when this gift came, but it was well received, and I'm very grateful for it. And I think it's great, Doc, that you can have that kind of just still at this stage, you and your brother and your mom, and still kind of wrestling through it like the old days, giving each other a hard time. It's special to bring joy like that into the holidays.
Yeah, probably more now than ever.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's good. That's good. Just such a good thing. And I'll say this too about the gift, the ticket. The value, let me say it this way. On the other side of the event, these events that we do, everybody, the majority of feedback that I get is like, it's hard to summarize, like, man, you guys just did it again. You kept getting better. It's better. And I know that's a bar, that's a standard to set. Some people wouldn't want you to say that out loud, but I'm saying it out loud. Like we just keep getting better, and this will be our best event yet. Yeah, I just need to say it that way. Like, and the only way to kind of feel it, to have that experience, is to be there. And so we love for you guys to join us. I'm saying that because I love to just be in the room with you guys. And we learned something during COVID, which was we went virtual with some of our events, and we did it out of necessity. But man, when we got back to being together again, it was like, we needed that. And it's just so good. It's so important to get together. So I get it. It's expensive to get on a plane, travel, get to a hotel, do the thing, the meals. It's not. It's an investment. And the ROI, we talked about that in our last episode. We were talking about your marketing and really understanding our ROI. And the most important metric you're going to really understand is the LTV to CAC ratio. Guess what? This is that. Going to this event is that ROI. This is that LTV to CAC, the lifetime value that you're going to gain from your employees, from your patient base, because you're training with us and you're in this environment, is huge based on the expense, the CAC. What did it cost to go to an event versus the ratio of what you're going to gain out of it? Is the LTV to CAC on that is going to be 10x. So
it's huge, Dr. B. And you have to put it that way, because if the reason you're saying to yourself, "Oh man, I'm not going to go to this event, it's going to be so much expense and I'm going to have to fly and I'm going to get a hotel room." And I'll tell you right now, you're going to want to bring your team, right? Yep. So, because here's the truth, guys, is the most expensive thing you could do in 2026 is not grow. Mm-hmm. Like, you have to understand that as a business owner. Like, this is a business conversation. So let's have a business conversation. The most expensive thing that you could do in 2026 is not grow. Okay. So if you should be growing $100,000 and you don't, you have a $100,000 problem to solve. Right? If you should be a $750,000 business and you have a $500,000 business, you have a $250,000 problem to solve. If you should be a $3 million business and you have a $1 million business, you have a $2 million problem to solve. Now, that might be a 3-year view for you, but you've got a $2 million problem to solve. Here's what I know to be true, Dr. Pete. 3 million is the new 1 million. What we're going to be talking about with the Remarkable platform and how to really drive revenue and profit in the business, 3 million is the new 1 million. Right? When we talk about the 7-figure practice, we don't mean a $1 million practice, which is a spectacular practice. 3 million would be the new 1 million, right? So, but not if you have the knowledge gap that you still have. This is a knowledge gap. The reason you're not at 500, 750, 1 million, 3 million is a knowledge gap. That's it, right? The only way to close the knowledge gap, it ain't working harder. It's learning, right? So, Dr. Pete, I have ownership in 6 businesses, right? So we do over $1 million a month in recurring revenue, okay? A month. It's because I've understood this law. The most expensive thing that I could possibly do is not grow. Okay, then the idea of like investing in things to grow my business, that is not like a consideration for me. That is the way. The thing that's in the way is the way. Right. So you just like, so I'm speaking to you right now. So the person that's sitting here and going, I think he's talking to me. I am talking to you. All right. So guys, this is a business conversation, and there's 2 different conversations, right? There's a practice conversation and there's a business conversation, and we're having them. Yeah. Right. So those are the 2 sides of the chiropractic coin that Dr. Pete was referring to, right? There's the practice side and there's the business side. The practice is the clinical entity that exists to deliver healthcare and better health experiences and better health outcomes for the patients. The business is the economic engine that exists to drive productivity in the forms of revenue and profit for the owners, for the investors, and for the team. Dr. Pete, until we see these as 2 separate and distinct complementary things, you need to have a healthy practice and a healthy business.
Yeah.
You'll never achieve your potential if you don't have both a healthy practice and a healthy business. We're having a business conversation today, and we'll go deep on that business conversation for you and your entire team at the Remarkable Business Immersion in Phoenix and in Brisbane.
And I'm going to say it this way. There's a love-hate relationship for a lot of you. You're struggling because you say, I love the practice side, but the business side, oh man, it's kind of a thorn in my side. I don't really have to deal with that. It's like, not my favorite thing. And it's kind of like the good angel on one shoulder and the devil on the other shoulder. You look at like the practice and then the business. And it's like, we got to quit that. They're both good. They're both good. They're both important. They're both valuable. They both serve a mighty purpose. And you've got to learn to love both of them. And we've taught this from the beginning of this podcast. We said, you don't have to be the smartest at everything. You don't have to know everything. You just need to surround yourself with a team that's great at everything. You don't have to be great at everything. The idea of being an owner operator, they're thinking, I got to do it all. And the CEO says, you got to do it all, or we've got to do it all. It's definitely not about me. It's about us. And it's a we game. And so this is going to be important because your whole team gets involved. And like you said, the only reason why you're not growing is because you're not learning or you're not applying what you've learned. And so you're going to learn, and then you're going to learn to apply, and you're going to be taught how to do it. And you're going to be guided. And that's what coaching is. Coaching is simply coming alongside of you. It's holding you accountable. It's keeping you on track with what the things you said you want to accomplish, and solving $250,000 problems and $300,000 problems and $500,000 and $1 million problems. We're going to be solving those level of problems this year with the doctors who we serve. We're going to solve millions and millions of dollars of problems this year in the business.
That's right.
This year. It's already happening. So that's why we want you to understand this. So we started the conversation, Dr. Stephen, on our last episode. We talked about the first of the 5, I would say, domains of the business and the practice. And we differentiate those two. So we talked about the marketing side. So if you're just tuning in today, please go back and listen to that episode. It actually sets up everything else in the series of this 5-part series. So this is part 2 of 5. And today we're going to continue the conversation into the conversion conversation and the sales conversation, right? There's a statement we say all the time, which is you can only help the people that you convert. So we're going to have a conversation around conversion and sales today. Dr. Stephen, I remember I got accused a lot in practice of they're like, you're a real good sales guy. And patients tell me that. I'd be like, thank you. It's like, thank you. I was like, I'm so glad that you said that. I said, my dad told me that actually good when I was younger too, that I was really good at sales. I said, the difference is, I said, if you think that I'm selling, then that simply means that I care more about what is going on in your health and your life right now than you do. I said, when you start caring as much about your health and your outcome as your wife does about you, then you might see it slightly different. It's just that I really care, sir. I just really care about what you've got going on. And I want you to have the benefit of integrating chiropractic care into your life. It doesn't have to be the way that it's been tomorrow because of what you can decide today. But if you choose to not proceed forward, man, bless you. No harm done. I'm good. But it's been a pleasure to know you for the time we got to know you. And then if you ever want to come back, you're always welcome. And the thing that I know and I love about sales is you have to be so ready to let them go. The less you hold on to them, the easier it gets. So many of you, this is just me coaching for a second. So many of you are holding so tightly. You grip so tight on the new patient, day one, day two, you hold so tight. That's why you're losing them. You got to be so loose. You got to be so free, so relaxed about it. And that's when it starts to get so easy. And easy is the wrong word, but that's when it gets good. And when I'm saying getting good, like Dr. Stephen, we had those conversations and somebody says something like, "Oh, you're a good sales guy." And we did group reports, for the majority of my career, but I sat through a group report. They're like, very nice presentation, very nice presentation.
Yeah.
I've heard it all, man. I've heard it all over and over. And now I was in the South where people are generally pretty nice. I mean, I'm sure if you're up north, they were like, shooting straighter. So, but at the end of the day, I'm good because I'm just doing sales is a reflection. Your ability to sell is a reflection of your ability to communicate your conviction, right? Conversion is a reflection of conviction, your conviction. And the more capable that you and your team are and your company is at communicating what's the conviction and helping people understand that you see them as a person, making that empathetic connection,
right.
And then giving them that direction, this conversation we're about to have, it's going to just get blown out of the water. I mean, we're going to take it to the whole next level. So Dr. Stephen, we're gonna have a sales conversation. I'll talk through the conversion metrics if you want to jump into the business metrics. I mean, we didn't decide before.
Yeah, for sure.
Handle this, but
there's no way you're going to start coaching and don't give me a minute.
All right.
I thought we were here to do a podcast, but man, you just hit the coaching button here. So I'm all in, bro. So I love what you just said there, and what I want people to recognize is that this is a process. It's a system. Okay. And our system in a linear and sequential format is attraction, conversion, retention, right? Of course, you have team building and collections as the fourth and fifth domain. But when we're talking about the practice, we're talking about your operations. This is your process, procedure, and scripting. That's what your operations are. Okay. So this is your day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, week 1, week 2, week 3, week, month 1. This is your process, procedures, and scripting. We call it attraction. Think about that word. It's attraction. What are you attracting? So if you get clear on your purpose and your mission and your vision, if you get clear on your ideal client profile, your ICP, when you get clear, and you get clear on your market message, and you're able to deliver a market message that will be a clear and compelling market message. Compelling for whom? For your ideal client profile. When you talk about the problems that you love to solve, the people that you love to solve them for, and the way you love to solve them, and you start talking about the outcomes and the objectives, and you get super crystal clear on that marketing message, it becomes a magnet of your ideal client profiles, which is why we call it attraction, internal, external, and digital attraction. So when you hear Dr. P talk about that situation, what we did was we inserted somebody into a sales conversation because that's very often we're skipping steps in the process, right? So first it starts with attraction, and that itself is a process, and it's a process that I know you are tweaking. Okay. So, and the more you tweak in it, the more you weaken it. So every single step of this process, and this is what we do in the Remarkable Practice System. This is what we do in our coaching, is we recognize that this is a process. So by the time a person gets to the conversion conversation, okay, the conversion process, what we call the true conversion process, it doesn't feel like selling. It feels like solving, because we teach you how to unearth what is the objective, what is a person trying to accomplish, and what is in the way of them accomplishing and getting what they want. What are they trying to achieve? What problems are they trying to solve? What goals are they trying to reach? And you are going to unearth that through a conversion process, process, procedure, and scripting that has a person so prepared to have a conversion and commitment conversation. It doesn't sound like or feel like selling, because it's not. It's solving. On the practice side in operations, it's solving. This is the conversion process. We are converting somebody from the outside in trap, the lie of the modern medical paradigm. And we are converting their belief system to inside out, where we teach them the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. When we lay it down and we teach them the one thing that will change everything, which is your behaviors matter. And when you're having a conversion conversation, you are converting a belief system. The commitment is the fruit of the conversion. So Dr. Pete, as we talk about the practice metrics, those are the conversion metrics. Today, we're going to have a business conversation, and that is the economic engine that supports the operational machine that is the practice. So now we're going to talk about the economics, and that is the sales economics. So today we're going to talk about the both sides of that coin, conversion and sales. But make no mistake, the patient's experience is a conversion environment, not a selling environment.
So I love it. And I love that you course corrected that. And by the way, touche and guilty as charged. Some of us are very passionate, and sometimes we can get out of the process, right? We could forget the formula. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, we did it right every single time. No, we did
100% not. Yeah.
And so that's also the thing that you got to recognize is that we're human, and your patients are human, and your team is human. And so by default, you're going to go through this, and then you use your saw or your axe for a while. The blade gets dull. You got to sharpen it. These immersions are like, man, I got in there and they were sharp. I sharpened up. I'm ready to go back to town and get chopping again. And so this is this ongoing process of refinement. So I want to talk about the practice metrics, what we would consider to be the conversion metrics, right? And these are important because we would call these the operational performance metrics for conversion, which is the practice side of that coin, which we talked about. And I'm going to go through these. We've been saying these are our favorite five. So these are our favorite five, right? These are our favorite five. So first one, I love this one. Man, we could do a seminar on each one of these. But the first one is the rule of 72, okay? It's 2026, guys. Here's the deal. Speed is like the name of the game. It is all about speed. And the faster somebody can get to the answer and the thing, they're going to go that route. I mean, people are not patient anymore. We have lost that time. So the rule of 72 might have to get wrote down to the rule of 7.2. It's like
it's maximum.
Yeah. It is just how quickly can we connect with the person who picked up the phone or opted in or whatever to raise their hand. How quickly can we get to that person to get onto the schedule, and then from onto the schedule into the office? Like rule of 72, like the speed of rule of 72. And I'm saying right now, the day one is the new day zero is a new day one, right? It's like the rule of 72. We've got to be making empathetic connections, and we've got to be moving people through the process and getting them in as quickly as possible right now, because they're getting, as soon as they opt in and sign on for your day one, the way the algorithm works, they're going to get pinged by 7 other chiropractors in the area through just the system, the way it's done digitally, with a special to come in for $49, but yours was $69, and they might have to double check it. Well, maybe I'll just go for that guy for $49. So just so you know, like, what are you doing to separate yourself? I'm not going to have that conversation now, but what are we doing to ensure that the people that are raising their hand, that are responding to what you're saying, are actually coming in? Rule of 72 applies to day 0 to day 1, but it also applies from day 1 to day 2. So that's the first rule. The first KPI is how efficiently are people moving through this beautiful sales formula, this process inside of your office, and where's the room for improvement? 72 has to do with number of hours. So how long does it take from somebody who came in for day 1? Day 1 is a discovery process, the discovery day, okay? How long does it take for them to come back to get their results and get their recommendations for care? What we're saying is rule 72. Someone needs to own that number. And as a clinic, we need to have the capacity to be able to serve people with that. So that's the first one. The second one.
Dr. B, let me jump in here, because this is just so powerful. And I know that, we've got a lot to unpack here, but what you said, I want to make sure they don't miss it. The rule of 72, basically, guys, time kills all deals, right? So there's a level of expectation that people are going to get immediate satisfaction. Okay. Now, I know you're not Amazon Prime, but guess what? People have had their nervous systems just shaped by immediate gratification. Okay. So if somebody's got an issue, they're raising their hand, they just took the hardest step, they're raising their hand and said, I need help. Your job is to respond to that interest immediately. Okay. So it's not 72 hours. If it's 7.2 minutes, you're late. Okay. So the research shows right now, especially when you're talking about digital leads, if somebody raises their hand, if you connect with that person inside of 5 minutes of them raising their hand, your conversion rate goes up 300%, not 30%, 300%. It's called speed to lead. How quickly you get to that prospect and turn them into a lead, schedule them into your office, right? So now, rule of 72 says you better be able to have an appointment with them, preferably same day or at the latest within 72 hours. Now, once they've been in for day one, you've got to have them back for day two for the report of findings, preferably next day or within 72 hours at the latest. It might be a Thursday, and we don't see patients on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but it's Monday. It's got to be rule of 72. Once they come in for their day two and convert, it's 72 hours before they get to the workshop, Dr. B. But by the time they get to the workshop, I want 72 hours. I want to be checking their family and their friends, right? So it's like rule of 72. And what you do is you pick one of those conversions as they go through the American Ninja gauntlet running through your practice trying to become a converted patient. Like, you've got to make sure every one of those steps is a conversion. You got to measure that and be like, okay, where are we breaking the rule of 72? Where are we taking too much time to get them to the next step?
So good. You guys are letting us, they let us out, Dr. Steven. So here
let's
we go.
go.
It's hard to talk about. Here's what I'm seeing. It's hard to talk about KPIs and not get after it. There's so much underneath each one of them. There's so much depth. There's so much, it's value, and there's so much work to be done and so much understanding to have on each one of these KPIs. So bear with Dr. Steven and I. We're pretty fired up and passionate about what we do. So the second KPI, Doc, is the day two show rate, or day two stick rate. Sorry. So this is how many people from day who came in for a new patient appointment actually show back up for the second one, which you might say, shouldn't everybody show back up? Yes, that's what it should be. But what is the percent? Because we know that there is going to be some attrition. There's some churn there between the first and the second appointment for all the reasons. But what is your day one to day two stick rate? How many people that are showing up for the new patient appointment, they're going through your discovery process, they're saying yes to your examination and testing? How many of those people are showing up on time as scheduled for their follow-up appointment, their day two, in the Remarkable Practice system? That's their report of findings visit. Okay. So what percentage of people are doing that? Guys, there are several things that drive this. Okay. I'm not going to get into it now because this is not a training on that, but I would say the attribute that's most important, there are three. Number one is, did you make an empathetic connection with that person? Did they feel like they were understood? Okay. That's the first key. The first key to day two show rate, stick rate. Sorry, I keep saying show rate, but stick rate is, did they feel that they were connected with you, right? Did they feel that connection empathetically? Number two, is there a level of what we call scarcity, but is there a level of specialness to being a patient in the office that not everybody gets it and not everybody qualifies? Like, there's got to be a level of that where it says, no, there's a standard with which we accept patients who are cared. And first of all, you have to qualify. You have to have this condition.
We have borders.
Vertebral subluxation, number one. Number two, you have to agree to our recommendations for care. And so there's two factors. Like, you have to qualify by having a condition called subluxation. Number two, we've got to be willing to take you on. And if those two things happen and then you agree to our recommendations, then we can move forward. So that would be, for example, scarcity. And the third is urgency. Urgency is genuine concern, and genuine concern is genuine. It's not fabricated. It's not scary. It's genuine, real. I'm concerned. I know how this is affecting your life. That concerns me. I'm so sorry that that's been happening. I'm sorry that you've been all around the block and over again. And here's and now you finally made it here, but that it's at this stage in the game. I'm sorry that, and I'm concerned because of these 3 or 4 and 5 things. And that's exactly why we scheduled you to come back tomorrow at the first available appointment that we have. We've blocked that for you, right? So day two stick rate comes from this place of, you had a connection. There's some scarcity there, but there's an urgency that drives. So that's the second of the KPIs, Dr. Steven. Third is the conversion rate, what we call the new patient conversion rate. What does conversion mean? So there's a big difference between somebody starting care and converting to care. The true conversion, what we teach, is somebody who completes their initial recommendations for care, their initial care plan, and they make it to what we call their R4. I'm not going to get into that right now. But a conversion is 3 criteria. Number one, they've agreed to your recommendations for your care, and they've signed the care plan. Number two, they have paid for their care. They've made an investment, financial exchange of value for what they're going to be receiving. And number three, they've scheduled out their appointments. So they're on the schedule in the future. So really simple, 3 things. Did they sign the care plan, which means they agreed to the doctor's recommendations for care? Number two, they're paying for it. And that's been established. And there could be multiple ways that happens. And then the third is that they've actually scheduled out, they're booked out their future appointments based on the recommendations that the doctor made. That would be an example of how we know, did they convert? And those would be 3 criteria as an example that we would want to look at. That's the third. Number 4 is, so if number 3 was the percentage of people that showed up for the report of findings that converted, the 4th is the number of people that converted. And this is really important too, because what we know is 1 number is a fact, 2 numbers tells the story, right? You may say, we had 100% conversions this month. Like, dude, phenomenal. How many people? 2. You're like, so you have a upstream problem. No, we just only had 2 that showed back up for the report. We had 35 new patients, just 2 came back for the report of findings. Like, oh, it's upstream, but just a little bit further upstream. You know, it's like, so it's how many people, showed up and said yes, and then how many said yes, because it tells us the full story, or it's more of a complete story. 1 number is a fact, 2 numbers is the story. So new patient conversion as a percentage, and then total conversions, and that's going to be important. The total, when it comes to a further downstream number in your retention, which is called net momentum. We're going to need to know that number. It goes into the equation. It's one of the 3 numbers that goes into that. So that's the 4th favorite. And then the 5th is a reactivations as a number, which we shared on our last podcast under the attraction metrics, how reactivations, especially as you've been in practice for 2-3 years or more, once you've been in for a few years, you have this beautiful field that you get to go and harvest from, called previously active people, and you want to be harvesting them. And so we want to track those as a number, because not all of them that come in say yes. So this would be the number of people that came in that said, you know what, doc, you were right. I learned my lesson. I'm in. Sign me back up. I want to be back on the plan that you originally said for me. Let's get going. And they do the 3 things. They sign the plan, they paid, and they map out those visits, and then they rock and roll. So those would be, Dr. Stephen, 5 of our favorites when it comes to operational performance metrics for conversion.
Awesome, Dr. Pete. All right. Put me in, coach. Give me the ball. All right. So those were the practice metrics. Like Dr. Pete said, it's your operations. Remember, guys, on the practice side, it's attraction, conversion, retention, team building, collections. Now we're going to flip the coin over. We're going to look at the business. On the business side, the economic engine that exists to drive productivity, revenue, and profit. We're talking about the financial metrics, okay, the economics of it. So now we're talking about marketing, sales, delivery, people, and money. All right. So now we're going to have the sales economics question, right? So here are our favorite 5 financial metrics associated with the business side of the coin. Number 1, new revenue. So you are converting new customers, new patients into the business every month. What's the new revenue that we've brought in, right? So reactivated revenue. Dr. P was just talking about reactivation, and that is part of, it's an opportunity, therefore a responsibility for an on-purpose chiropractor to reactivate people, right? So if you understand churn, when somebody leaves your practice, not only does a soul, a human being that you were trusted with, leave the practice, the money that they would invest in their healthcare, in your services, walks out the door also. So there's revenue that churns, right? So, and you have to feel that, right? You have to understand when a family of 3 converts, doesn't that feel great? Well, it should feel terrible when a family of 3 discontinues. Sorry, I'm talking about the economic impact as much as the actual health trajectory of that family. It's the economic impact, which is the health trajectory of your business. Okay. So how much revenue do you reactivate? If you're struggling with getting reactivation into the culture of your business, start tracking the revenue that you'd be reactivating. So they'd be like, hey, hold on now. Hold on. And by the way, the cost to acquire a customer, the CAC that we talked about in the marketing study, the lowest CAC is referral. The second lowest is reactivation. Right? So here we go. Right. So it's like, this is a way to get a new patient to come back in, right? So who's coming back to start care, and they want care now. They're coming back. They know what you do, right? So this is one of the lowest cost to acquire a customer. So reactivated revenue, and then case average for those people that convert to care. What is the average care plan that they're committing to? That's a case average. And then I love this one, new MRR. If you're keeping monthly recurring revenue and you're tracking MRR and what we'll talk about next, ARR, annual recurring revenue, that's one of the best numbers to be tracking. Like I opened up with, we do over $1 million a month in recurring revenue. That's a really, really important number to track. That's a business. If you have a business that starts at 0 every month on the first of the month, I'm sorry, I've owned those businesses before. That's a terrible business to own. We start at 0 every first of the month, right? You want to have a recurring revenue. You want to have continuity, a subscription-based business, auto debit, EFT, monthly recurring revenue. So you want to be tracking that. And what you measure grows. You don't get what you want, you get what you measure. You don't get what you want, you get what you reward. What you talk about, you bring about. How do you talk about it and bring it about? You make sure you measure it and assign somebody to that KPI and you incentivize them. I keep all of my people incentivized around recurring revenue. We're going to have that conversation. That's going to be front of mind for them. And guess what happens? I tell our coaching clients, make $100,000 a month of recurring revenue, your target. And they're like, oh my gosh, we do zero now. It's like, great. In 3 years, imagine if you owned a business that was doing $100,000 a month. I did this to a couple of our clients here recently, and they come up and give you big hugs and they're like, bro, we're at $79,000 a month in recurring revenue. Some are at $279,000 a month in recurring revenue. That's the business you want to own. And then finally, Dr. Pete, it's annual recurring revenue, right? So you're going to have annual recurring revenue, which is you could look back in hindsight and say, hey, in this calendar year, what did we do? You could do a rolling 12-month. Where are we on our annual recurring revenue? You could do a run rate of this is where we are times 12. This is where we're going to be. It's really fun to watch it. It's like you get to actually feel not just the impact that you're doing with your services of love with your humans and changing their health trajectory, but you're actually changing the health trajectory of the business when every month you show up and you've got this annual recurring revenue or the monthly recurring revenue that you're not starting at zero. You're already starting in the black. That's when, as Dr. Sid used to say, you make it about the principle, not the principle. Hey, Doc, if this message is hitting you right between the eyes, it's exactly where we're aiming. This message is for you today. If you said, hey, man, that's me, that's the thing I'm trying to solve, or that's the thing I'm trying to accomplish, and now is the time. If you're ready, let's jump onto a strategy session. You'll see the link down below. Schedule, we'll jump on a call with you, and let's discuss exactly how we can help you create your own remarkable practice.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Remarkable CEO Podcast. If you like this podcast, please subscribe, share with a friend, and leave us a review. And if you'd like to connect with us personally, direct message us on Facebook, LinkedIn, or Instagram. Remember, what the world needs now is chiropractic, and what chiropractic needs now is more successful chiropractors.